What's up, it's your boy Dynast. At the end of this video, make sure you go to www.dynastsamir.com. Check out our indigenous African art, jewelry, fashion, and accessories. Go to searchforuhuru.com. Learn more information on the documentary we're shooting and also contribute towards the documentary. Last but not least, go to amazon.com. Search your name, Dynast Amir. Buy a book. I wrote them, so cop one. Wanted to shoot this video today just to remind African countries, African governments, and the African Union. Just wanted to send a friendly reminder that you guys have still not made right with the victims of the slave trade. And the reason why I want to shoot this video is because the African Union had the audacity to blast the U.S. for taking its people as slaves but not accepting refugees. Which, they're telling the truth. But let's deal with reality. Where's the agenda for the victims of the slave trade? I haven't seen shit. We have to go through as much red. I said this in my previous video. We have to go through as much red tape, or probably even more, to become citizens in any African country, just as much as any refugee has to go through the same. Any refugee has to go through the same red tape to become citizens here in America. You guys have not offered any assistance to Black Americans or victims of the slave trade. Nothing. You have not opened up your borders. Yeah, we could visit with visas. Like, I just went to Benin. I had to drop like $180 for a visa. And here we go. Let's talk about Benin. So, me being a Black American, obviously I have a U.S. passport. I had to drop $140 for a visa to go to Benin. I go to Ouida. Okay? In Ouida, they have the point of no return. And that's a monument where the African slaves were taken, where they boarded the ships to be shipped to the New World, to the West. And they're like, yeah, we're celebrating this as, you know, the descendants of the slave trade, you know, as far as them being kidnapped and sent to the West and forced through slavery and forced on the ships to the West. And then I think that was like the front of the actual arch. That's what it said. Then on the back, it spoke of the spiritual return as far as the descendants of the slave trade coming back. So I'm a descendant of the slave trade. But you guys want to charge me $140 for a visa. You want to charge a descendant of the slave trade $140 for a visa to come see a monument you guys built in honor of us. I mean, think about it. They're charging us $140 to come and see our own shit. But again, you know I love Africa. You know I love the African people. You guys know I ride for Africa the most. But come on, man. Africa has still not made right with Black Americans or with victims of the slave trade. And you guys know that. You guys haven't even extended any type of assistance or just anything. Just any type of kind gesture. You guys haven't extended or offered anything. At all. Which is the reason why I'm pissed off by this. What's this lady's name? Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. She had the audacity to say this shit. And I'm going to tell you another thing that pisses me off about this. She's from South Africa. Back during apartheid, Black Americans went hard for Nelson Mandela. Black Americans went hard to end apartheid. But fucking the apartheid, the police brutality, and the apartheid that many Black Americans still experience here in America to this day, fucking these African consulates and embassies sit here and view this shit from the windows of their embassies and don't say shit. Don't speak out on shit. But you have the nerve to speak out against Donald Trump for banning some African refugees, but you guys haven't A, extended any type of assistance to the victims of the slave trade. B, you guys refuse to speak out against the brutality that many black Americans face on a daily basis. And you guys have embassies and consulates here in America, and you see this shit but refuse to speak out. But then you have the audacity to exploit the slaves, the victims of the slave trade, just for your own political gain. Am I wrong? Am I exaggerating, or am I telling the truth? Comment on that. Leave some comments and share this. And just let me know if I'm overreacting. But that's how I feel. You guys have not formally reached out to all the descendants of the slave trade. And again, they're complaining about Donald Trump not accepting refugees. I want you as a black American to show up to any African country and try to gain dual citizenship and see the bullshit process you got to go through. I know Ghana offers some right of abode, but still, you can't own land. In fact, here you go. Go to many of these African countries. You not being not being a citizen, try to buy some land in the same countries that you were kidnapped from. You have to rent it. So come on, man. Africa still has not and refuses to make right with the descendants of the slave trade. Every descendant of the slave trade, your visa is your skin. If you're black, that's your visa. You don't need to buy no damn visa. If you're coming back home, if you're the descendant of the ancestor that was kidnapped from Africa, and if you're coming back, you shouldn't have to pay for a damn visa. Your visa should be your skin, and you should be able to travel throughout Africa without having to buy a visa, just like if you have a passport from a Western African country or the ECOWAS country. That should be your visa. Your skin. You should be able to show up and say, I'm returning in the name of my ancestors. You cool, come on in. Instead, you guys want to charge us $140 for a visa just to see some shit that you guys made in remembrance of us, but want to charge us. Then if we want dual citizenship, we got to go through just as much red tape to get that dual citizenship as the same refugees that Donald Trump isn't accepting. But you have the audacity to use our name to exploit us just for your own political gain, because the trend right now, what's trending is speaking out against Donald Trump and his ban against Muslim immigrants. So it's sexy to exploit the victims of the slave trade, but it's not sexy. To offer us anything of value. Come on. In fact, African Union, African countries, what of value have you guys offered the descendants of the slave trade? I'll wait. What a value. And you guys know I love Africa. I love African people. But what a value have you offered the descendants of the slave trade? But you have the audacity to say this shit. I'm going to read this again. African Union blasts U.S. for taking its people as slaves, but not accepting refugees. But you guys won't accept or reach out or offer anything of value to the victims of the slave trade. The descendants of the victims of the slave trade. You guys won't offer anything to them, anything of value, nothing. But you have the audacity to exploit and use us, our ancestors, just to make a political point. That's bullshit, in my honest opinion. So again, African Union, when are you going, African countries, African leaders, Africans at these embassies and consulates in D.C. and New York, who on a daily basis through their windows see and witness the bullshit that black Americans go through, but don't speak out or say anything, when are you guys going to make right with the descendants of the slave trade here in America and Central America and South America? When are you guys going to make right and give us citizenship to the countries we want, any country we want to in Africa? Make right with that. Follow me on social media. Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. Donnie Samir. Till next time, I'm out.